So till now you have understood about conductor, insulators and semiconductors, and I am saying it again. Now it is your duty to make your notes and read the chapters, because the chapter is a story. In class 11th or 12th we are not going through the story, and I am not going to tell you the story. It is for class 6th, 7th, 8th and small younger classes, not for small the younger classes, not for you. You have to make your own notes and you go through the story, read about that, because 1 marks question always come from this story, these passages. So always go through these passages. And the main thing about 1 mark question is that they are always new. They are always new. So let us understand the third topic, charging by induction. What is this? Charging by induction. What is charging by induction? Let us take two metal balls. See, there are, this is pith ball, this is one, this is two, pith ball. Now we touch this one ball with an electrified object. This is object O. This could be any object, glass rod, plastic rod, it does not matter what is this, but this is an object O which is charged positively. So if in previous case, if we go to electroscope, so we have charged this object using friction, charging by friction, by rubbing. Then if in previous observation when we used electroscope, if we see, then if we touch this to another pith ball or another object, if it is positive, some positive charge would be transferred on this if it was touched. But here what, we are not going to touch this, we are bringing this to closer but not touch, very close to each other. So what happens, similarly to a magnet, so when magnets are little bit far, magnets attract each other or repel each other. Similarly the charges induce another type of charges. Suppose if this is positive, it will induce, this was neutral, there was no charge on A as well as no charge on B. So when we brought this closer, a negative charge on this side, negative charge on this side has come on this because of the attraction of opposite charges. This is negative, this is positive because of this. So since this side of this A ball becomes negative, this side must be positive. Hence, and this one is in contact with this positive charge, this again becomes negative and this side of B becomes positive. So this, in this way, when we don't touch two objects and objects become charged, this is called charging by induction. This is also very important property, especially in chapter where we will understand about how the electricity is produced. There we will use this induction property. Okay, so let us go further. In another example, this again, this is brought closer to this object, and this time A and B also not touching each other, there is a gap, but what we are seeing is still this right side of B becomes positive and left side of A becomes negative. Left side of A becomes negative and this becomes positive, this becomes negative, again this is positive. This is an example of charging by induction. Now what we can see, if there were two different objects and we separate, there was only A, B was not there. So if suppose this side of A is negative, when we brought close B here, B close to this, so it becomes positive, this side becomes positive. Again this is charging by induction. And if outer surface of A is somehow negative, by some means it is made negative by conduction, or and B object is brought closer to this, so the outside surface of B becomes positive. Okay, so last year very similar, on similar grounds a question came. There the two pith balls were given, one was charged with negatively, another was charged positively. That we will see sometimes after that what was the question. So The question was between these two balls, two metal balls or two pith balls, that how they get charged. So now this is example 1.1. As always, you have to understand this example. An example you have to understand completely. How can you charge a metal sphere positively without touching it? Definitely by induction. Okay, definitely by induction. So here you have shown that which way you can create this metal charge. So there are 5 diagrams. A, where there is only a metal ball, metal sphere. In second, the metal sphere which is grounded. Third, you are bringing an object which is negatively charged, and positive charge comes on this side and negative charge comes on this side. You are bringing this negative rod and this side becomes positive, this side becomes not charged, and fifth, it all becomes positively charged. Okay, so now, so there are 5 diagrams. So figure 1.5a shows an uncharged metallic sphere. There is no charge on an insulating stand. Stand should be insulating, so the charge should not pass through. Bringing a negatively charged close to the metallic sphere. So remember, you have to positively charge. Which type of charge? So you have to brought negative object, and charging by induction will be used in this case, because you have to make positively charged without touching. So now bringing a negatively charged rod close to the metallic sphere as shown in this figure 1b, and why it is grounded, not this. So you want this side to be grounded, so this side becomes positive, but this side should not become negative. The rod is brought close to the sphere. The free electrons in the sphere move away. So this side is negative. Electrons move in this way. This becomes negative, and negative charge goes to the ground. So away from the sphere due to repulsion, and start piling on the further at this end. This process of charge distribution stops when net force on free electrons inside the metal is 0. Connect the sphere to the ground by a conducting wire. We have connected. The electrons will flow to the ground while positive charges at the near end will remain there. Okay, due to attractive force of the negative rod. So this, as I have seen this, I have said that this ground wire will help this negative charges go into ground, and we had already discussed on that day that the earth is one of the best conductors, because its capacity is infinite. You cannot have more charge than the whole earth. So whatever charges you supply, earth will take that all. So this is negative, this side become positive, this becomes negative, but that goes to the ground. Okay, so this is not charge, positive, negative, positive, negative charge goes to the ground, and then you remove this. So this part becomes positively charged, but as soon as you move this negatively charged, this positive charge is uniformly distributed throughout the whole sphere. So remove the electrified rod, the positive charge will spread uniformly over the whole sphere. 1.5e, this one. So in this experiment, the metal sphere gets charged by the process of induction, and the rod does not lose any of its charge. So one important thing, that I said that charge should be conserved. So where was the extra charge? The extra charge went into the ground. Okay, so the extra charge went into the ground. Similar steps involved in charging a metal sphere negatively. Similarly, you can negatively charge the metal sphere by not touching it by induction when you bring positively charged rod. Okay, in this case, electrons will flow from the ground to sphere when the sphere is connected with ground with wire. Can you explain why? When you take the similar example and do it with the positive body, the electron will not flow from metal sphere to the ground, but from ground to metal sphere, because electrons move, protons don't move. Protons are very heavy, positive charges are very heavy. The movement is only for the electrons.